Stop everything. January 16th stands apart from ordinary days. Energy shifts today. Doors respond today. Moments like this rarely announce themselves, yet they decide outcomes for months ahead. Something important is already moving, and awareness determines whether it is received or missed. This day carries a financial signal many overlook. Not superstition, not coincidence. Patterns repeated across faith, history, and spiritual law point to specific windows where provision accelerates. January 16th marks one of those windows, when unseen resistance weakens and movement becomes possible. Money delays often look physical, yet their roots stay unseen. Pressure builds, effort increases. Still, nothing moves. This video explains why that happens and how alignment changes it. You will learn why certain financial doors stay closed despite effort and how spiritual timing releases what hard work alone cannot. A prophetic prayer is shared here, tied to agreement, authority, and divine order. Words spoken with alignment create motion. Peace attracts provision, fear disrupts flow. Understanding this truth changes how money responds in your life. Stay until the end. The final declaration carries the release many wait for, yet few reach because they leave early. Those who remain receive clarity, calm, and direction for today and the days ahead. Welcome to Shaolin Divine Flow, a channel devoted to spiritual alignment, inner strength, and divine timing. Ancient wisdom meets present truth here. Subscribe and stay connected, because messages like this arrive only at the right moment. Listen closely. Certain days carry a weight that cannot be seen, only felt. They move differently. Time behaves differently. Decisions made on such days echo longer than expected, and actions taken align faster than usual. January 16th stands in that category, not by chance, but by timing. Across spiritual traditions and ancient wisdom, specific dates are recognized as alignment points, moments when effort meets grace. When intention meets opportunity. These are the days when doors respond more quickly, not because pressure increases, but because resistance decreases. January 16th carries that exact rhythm. Spiritual timing works like a current. Swim against it and progress feels exhausting. Move with it and momentum appears. This day flows with clarity, not confusion, with response, not delay. It arrives after reflection and before renewal, making it a bridge between waiting and movement. Alignment does not mean perfection. It means readiness. It means the inner state matches the moment. January 16th offers that match. Emotions settle, thoughts sharpen, faith becomes steadier. When the inner and outer align, outcomes change. This is why some prayers seem unanswered for weeks, then suddenly move in a single day. Timing shifts everything. January 16th weakens spiritual noise and amplifies intention. Words spoken today carry farther. Decisions land deeper. Agreements gain force. Many miss such days because they look ordinary. No signs, no alarms, yet those who recognize them experience acceleration. A sense of calm replaces urgency. Confidence replaces doubt. Action feels lighter. January 16th does not demand effort. It responds to awareness. When attention meets timing, alignment begins. Money moves before it appears. It responds to flow, not force. Long before it reaches the hand, it travels through intention, belief, and permission. That is why money is more than paper. It is provision in motion. It is energy designed to circulate, support, and sustain. When it flows, life feels lighter. Choices expand. Breathing becomes easier. When that flow is blocked, everything feels heavier. Small problems feel big. Simple needs feel stressful. Even joy feels delayed. Not because money defines worth, but because provision touches every area of daily life. Food, shelter, rest, peace. A blockage in provision creates pressure far beyond the wallet. Most blocks are invisible. Fear tightens the flow. Worry disrupts direction. Constant strain sends the message that lack is expected. Money responds to signals. It slows when fear dominates. It accelerates when peace returns. This is not magic. It is alignment. Provision moves toward clarity, toward trust, toward those who allow movement instead of resistance. That is why chasing money exhausts, while receiving provision restores. Effort without alignment drains energy. Alignment multiplies effort. Across spiritual teachings, provision arrives when the inner state shifts, not when anxiety increases, but when release happens, when hands open instead of clench. Money senses permission. Energy follows openness. Agreement strengthens this flow. When many focus together, resistance weakens. That is why shared prayer carries momentum. It creates a channel wider than individual effort. Today that channel stands open. Words also guide movement. Spoken expectation directs energy. Silence filled with trust invites response. This moment is about allowing provision to resume its natural motion. Right now, release the weight carried around money. Not tomorrow, not gradually. In this moment, let the flow return to its purpose. Delays often feel personal, yet they are rarely punishment. They come quietly, without warning, and hide behind normal explanations. Missed calls, slow responses, almost opportunities. Behind these patterns sits unseen resistance, not opposition meant to harm, but misalignment waiting to be corrected. Spiritual resistance works subtly. Distraction pulls attention away at critical moments. Fear whispers caution when action is required. Doubt delays decisions until timing passes. None of this looks dramatic. It feels ordinary. That is why it goes unnoticed. Misalignment does not mean something is wrong with you. It means direction needs adjustment, like standing inches away from the signal yet just far enough to lose clarity. The connection exists, but the channel is narrow. Many carry financial pressure while blaming effort, luck, or others. Yet the real block often sits within atmosphere, not ability. Anxiety clouds perception. Constant worry sends mixed signals. The flow hesitates because direction feels uncertain. Fear plays a powerful role. Fear of losing, fear of failing again, fear of expecting too much. These fears slow momentum. They interrupt reception. Money responds to confidence and clarity. Fear fractures both. Distraction also delays provision. Energy scattered across worry, regret, and anticipation cannot fully receive. Alignment requires focus, presence, a settled inner state that signals readiness. Resistance lifts when awareness enters. Once the unseen becomes seen, its power weakens. This moment creates that awareness. Recognition alone begins adjustment. Nothing needs to be forced. Correction happens through alignment, not struggle. When fear loosens and focus returns, resistance fades naturally. Flow resumes without effort. Movement begins again. Provision often arrives quietly, then all at once. Patterns repeat across scripture, history, and lived experience. Long seasons of waiting, followed by a single moment of release. Not gradual, not predictable, sudden. This is how divine provision moves. The delay stretches faith. The silence refines focus. Then, when expectation fades and hope feels thin, movement begins. At the last moment, help appears. An answer arrives. A door opens that effort could not unlock. This timing is intentional. It removes pride and fear at the same time. Pride dissolves because the solution was not controlled. Fear dissolves because the outcome exceeds expectation. Sudden provision reminds the heart where source truly comes from. Many think blessings require constant tension, endless striving. Yet divine supply often responds to surrender. When control loosens, space opens. That space invites movement. Stories repeat the same structure. The resources show up just before collapse. The opportunity appears just as strength runs low. Not to create pain, but to build trust. Trust shifts reliance away from panic and toward peace. Hope thinning does not mean hope dying. It means hope refining. It moves from emotion to certainty, from noise to stillness. In that stillness, provision finds direction. Sudden does not mean random. It means prepared. Alignment builds quietly while nothing appears to change. Beneath the surface, paths are forming. Connections are aligning. Timing is being calibrated. When provision arrives, it feels effortless. No chase, no strain, just arrival. That moment reminds the soul that waiting was not wasted, It was shaping readiness. This pattern remains active today. The same flow, the same timing, the same release when expectation aligns with trust. Effort moves mountains only so far. Hard work shapes skill, creates opportunities, and prepares the ground. Yet some doors remain closed, no matter how much energy is poured. That is where faith enters. Faith activates what effort alone cannot reach. It bridges the gap between preparation and breakthrough. Faith is not wishful thinking. It is a confident expectation that unseen forces respond to alignment. It signals readiness to receive what is coming. While effort lays the path, faith opens the gate. Without faith, the path can remain blocked, even when all visible signs are in place. Faith transforms waiting into motion. Today is a day designed for activation, not passive hope, but deliberate inner alignment. Belief moves energy. Attention shapes response. Speaking intention, holding peace, and maintaining trust triggers momentum that effort alone cannot create. This is why prayers, declarations, and spiritual focus carry weight. They awaken channels beyond the visible, beyond the measurable. Many labor tirelessly, yet encounter stagnation. Faith allows breakthrough. It shifts timing. It releases hidden resistance. Doors that seemed immovable swing open. Opportunities arrive where effort exhausted itself. That is the hidden power of trust aligned with action. Activation does not demand spectacle. It begins in stillness, in clarity, in the quiet certainty that provision is near. Effort continues, but it now flows with energy that accelerates results. Faith multiplies what work lays down. Even when results are unseen, the inner shift creates impact. Momentum begins in the invisible, then manifests in reality. Today, every intention, every word spoken, every focus of energy carries the power to unlock doors previously sealed. Faith is the key. Effort is the preparation. Together, they move what once felt immovable. Alignment multiplies when it is shared. When hearts converge on the same intention, unseen momentum forms. Prayer alone carries energy, but collective agreement amplifies it. Focused faith moves faster, travels further, and meets fewer obstacles. That is the power of agreement. This video is more than words on a screen. It becomes a gathering point, a place where multiple intentions meet. Every person who listens, breathes, and receives the message adds energy to the current. The more hearts aligned, the stronger the flow. Resistance softens, paths open, movement accelerates. Agreement works because energy responds to unity. Dispersed effort diffuses results. Concentrated focus multiplies them. When hundreds, thousands, or even millions align on the same prayer, the atmosphere itself shifts. Doors that seemed locked begin to respond. Blocks dissolve quietly. Opportunities move into place naturally. Participation does not require perfection. It only requires presence. Each pause, each quiet acknowledgement, each shared expectation contributes. The ripple grows unseen, yet its impact reaches beyond what is visible. Alignment becomes momentum, momentum becomes movement, and movement becomes breakthrough. This is why shared intention matters more than isolated effort. One voice is heard, but many create force. One heart trusts, but many open channels. One focused thought carries weight, but collective attention produces acceleration. Right now, as this video plays, it serves as the anchor, a center of convergence where personal faith meets collective energy. Each viewer joining in focus strengthens the current. Barriers that held provision back begin to give way. Energy moves from potential into action. In agreement, patience becomes powerful. Stillness becomes motion. Faith becomes unstoppable. The invisible becomes tangible. And in this convergence, doors previously closed begin to open, guided by the collective force of shared intention. Fear is heavy. It tightens the chest, clouds the mind, and constricts movement. When fear surrounds money, it creates an invisible barrier. The flow slows. Opportunities hesitate. Energy retreats. Fear repels provision because it signals resistance, doubt, and mistrust. Money, like energy, follows the path of least resistance. Fear blocks that path, Peace works differently. Calm confidence opens channels. It clears the space where provision can enter. Peace signals readiness, not panic. It aligns the heart with possibility. The quieter the mind, the stronger the signal. Flow returns when anxiety releases, when tension loosens, and when hope is steadied. Most people try to force results through worry. They push, chase, and plan relentlessly. Yet pressure without alignment meets friction. Flow cannot thrive under strain. Release creates space. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means allowing. It means trusting the unseen current to carry what is ready to move. Fear often disguises itself as caution. It whispers warnings about loss, mistakes, or scarcity. Listening to it continuously trains the mind to expect blocks. Peace, in contrast, trains the mind to expect provision. Every thought, word, and focus shifts the invisible direction of energy. The inner state becomes the map for outer results. Release fear by speaking calm over your life. Affirm readiness. Breathe deeply into trust. Picture provision arriving without struggle. Let gratitude lead instead of worry. Every small moment of inner release opens a larger channel for movement. Peace does not rush. It does not strain. It simply invites, and the universe responds. When fear loosens, doors quietly swing open. Opportunities find their way. Money flows toward those aligned with confidence, clarity, and calm expectation. Today, release the weight carried around provision and let flow return naturally. Words carry power long before proof appears. Faith speaks first, even when nothing seems to respond. It declares what is hidden, calls forth what is delayed, and moves energy into motion. Speaking before seeing is not wishful thinking, it is activation. It signals readiness, intention, and alignment. The universe responds not to doubt, but to declaration. When faith speaks, it draws opportunity closer. It shifts momentum in ways unseen. What feels impossible begins to edge toward possibility. Doors that appeared closed begin to open quietly. Timing aligns, paths straighten, and provision begins to move in the invisible realm before it manifests in the physical. Words act as guides for energy, creating direction and force where effort alone cannot. Expectation sharpens this process. Listening with hope, attention, and readiness amplifies the effect. The mind tuned to faith recognizes patterns, seizes opportunities, and perceives solutions that remain invisible to fear-driven thinking. Expectation is not passive waiting, it is active preparation. It positions the heart to receive, the mind to notice, and the spirit to trust. Many hesitate to speak their faith because results are unseen. Yet delay does not mean denial. Silence does not guarantee success. Every spoken word of trust, every declaration of readiness, every statement of belief carves a path where movement follows. Speaking first sets the rhythm. Listening with expectation keeps it steady, and alignment allows results to arrive naturally. Even in the quiet, when nothing seems to change, faith continues to work. Each affirmation, each whispered hope, each intentional word is a seed planted in unseen soil. Growth begins immediately, though harvest takes its own timing. Speaking before seeing transforms waiting into action. It transforms doubt into motion. It transforms possibility into unfolding reality. Today, every word spoken in faith becomes a signal that provision is on its way. Listen carefully. Today, January 16th, carries power unlike any ordinary day. Declare it over your life. Speak it into being. Open doors that seemed closed. Opportunities that felt distant now move within reach. The flow of provision shifts in your favor, quietly, yet with unstoppable force. Unexpected help arrives. People, resources, and ideas show up in ways you did not anticipate. Assistance appears from places you never considered. Connections form naturally, aligning with the purpose you carry. The universe responds when readiness meets declaration. Debts begin to release their grip. Pressure that weighed heavily on your shoulders starts to lift. Solutions appear where there was once worry. Payments, obligations, and burdens find resolution through pathways previously hidden. Relief arrives, not slowly, but steadily, as alignment strengthens. Surprise income enters your life, not through strain or struggle, but through divine timing. Gifts, opportunities, and blessings emerge from unseen channels. What was stagnant now moves. What was delayed now finds acceleration. Money, resources, and provision find their way to you because alignment calls it forward. Speak boldly, say it quietly, if necessary, but speak it with certainty. Doors open, help appears, debts dissolve, income flows. Let your voice mark the beginning of movement. Let intention activate response. Let faith guide what effort alone cannot achieve. This is a day for clarity, not confusion, for expectation, not hesitation, for action rooted in trust, not fear. Declare it over your life, over your finances, over your opportunities. Speak it with belief, speak it with readiness. Speak it as though the universe is already responding, because it is. January 16th, answers to alignment. Today, every declaration carries weight. Every word carries energy. Every intention sets motion. Provision moves. Doors swing open. Relief arrives. Opportunities find you. The unseen becomes visible, and your life begins to shift toward abundance. Pause for a moment. Breathe deeply. Receive what is coming without force, without struggle. Let go of the tension, the chasing, the doubt. Provision flows to calm hearts, steady minds, and open hands. Trust that alignment carries it to you. If this message touched your heart, like this video and subscribe to Shaolin Divine Flow. Stay connected to guidance that awakens faith, clarity, and abundance. Remember this: when you pause, when you trust, when you allow, life moves in ways that effort alone cannot create. Today is your moment, let it flow, and step into the abundance already waiting for you.